Hello and welcome to another episode of Video Camera Raw. I'm Alps Lifey and today we're going to be talking about the Canon EOS R. So Canon have finally given us that mirrorless camera we've all been looking for. It's 10-bit, it's 4K, it's full frame, and it's got the glorious DPAF autofocus system. But wait.
Is that what I think it is?
You didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you?
You know, for a second there? Yeah, I kinda did.
Why Canon? Why do you do this to us?
You wanna ask why? Everything is why? Why me, why you, why everybody else?
You give us a full frame 4K camera, but then when we go to video mode, it's cropped.
Bastard bitch! You fuck you! Bloody fuck you, bloody!
You keep giving us a cropped APS-C type camera. This really annoys me because they've had the time to develop these processors and really make this camera something. Instead, they've come out and said, this isn't our flagship camera, but it's not our worst camera.
I'm bad, and that's good. I will never be good, and that's not bad.
Instead, it's a middle range camera for various types of people. I think they've really, I don't understand what they're doing here. I really don't get it. They've really just let themselves go. If you now look at Nikon, the Z6 is actually a better camera than the EOS R.
Am I saying that I'm better than you? I guess I'm going a little further than you are. Yeah, I'm fucking better than you, okay? Much better than you. You are garbage.
Which is very strange. Canon should be leading the front here. They've got the technology, they've got the capabilities to do it. So either they're really severely limited by their processors and their technology and whatever their digit processors are, or they're just refusing to allow us to get a great camera. And they're still trying to push us towards the cinema series cameras, which brings me to another point. The C200 doesn't have 10-bit, so why would you then put it on a small form camera? What are they doing? I don't understand. You've got a 7,000 or 8,000 pound camera that can't do 10-bit, but it can do RAW, but in their version of RAW. But then you give a small camera, which really isn't that great, 10-bit out. Why not just give the C200 10-bit out? If you don't want to give it internally, at least give it externally. I think they're just messing up here, and I think they're trying to create too many subcategories for different types of shooters, and in my opinion this is backfiring. For me personally, I just can't see myself staying with Canon now. This is the final straw, I think. Too many quirks, too many different subcategories for different cameras, and I think really what they should have done is made one camera that was for hybrid shooters, one camera for photographers, one camera for video shooters, and then you got your cinema series lines. So it wasn't really an in-depth review of the EOS R or why you should or shouldn't buy it. Should you buy it? Yes, if you're already part of the Canon family and you want to stay with Canon. I said the similar thing about the Nikon as well, but when now I look at the Canon and look at the Nikon, I'm like, well really, why would you want to stay with Canon? Because it seems like the more you're spending now on Canon, the less you're getting for your money.
Disappointed!
And it seems true with this camera. They've said it themselves, it's a mid-range camera. It's not really something that's going to impress you. It's not really something that's going to not impress you. I mean, they have given us a better codecs as well, but is it enough? I don't think so. I think that really they should have been focusing on hitting hard at the GH series, because now that is a direct competitor to them. The problem is that Canon can't come out and say, well, we're full frame, we don't compete with Micro Four Thirds or APS-C for this camera. Well, actually it's not true, because your camera can't do full frame 4K, whereas the Nikon can, the Sony can. If you put a Metabones on the GH5S, you're getting very, I think it's like a 1.1 crop, which is like, that's basically full frame. So for the price of it, and my problem is the price. It's cheap, don't get me wrong, for Canon standards, but it's not cheap enough. And I think for the price, the Z6 is a way better camera. So should you buy the Canon EOS R? I don't know. To be honest with you, I've got mixed feelings about it. I don't want to say don't buy it.
What are you saying?
Not saying anything.
You're saying something.
What could I be saying?
Well, you're not saying nothing. You must be saying something.
If I was saying something, I would have said it.
Why don't you say it?
I said it.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
But I also want to say that it's got good specs and it's got bad specs. If you're going to be flying on a gimbal a lot, it could be a great camera. You could put the Atomos 5 on it, and you could fly that around and you can get your 10-bit out. But bearing in mind, you're going to be shooting more or less APS-C. It's not full frame as advertised, and that's my problem with it. It's not the fact that it shoots in these modes, but it's aimed at being a full frame camera when it can't fulfill that full frame specification for video. And also not forgetting that the slow motion capabilities on this camera suck.
What a load of old shit!
Your phone can do better slow mo than this camera. Canon, your slow motion capabilities are just the worst of all the companies. I mean, even Fuji now have got 1080p 120 frames per second. Really, I think you're just holding back too much now, and I think in 2 years' time, it's going to get to a point where everyone else is going to be like up here, and Canon's going to be like, oh, hey guys, sorry we're late to the party, and it's going to be like, sorry, bye, bang.
What's up?
Good morning. I have a paper with
Door shut. They might be doing well in sales, but it's a very slow. I can see them becoming the next Nokia, and I think a lot of people were saying the same thing as well. The thing about this is it is promising. The promising thing about this camera is that it's proof that Canon are starting to listen. They are starting to listen. They have put 10-bit in it, and we can't ignore that fact. And there are great things about the camera as well. Like if you're a hybrid shooter, it's got great body design, it looks good. I mean, it's probably the best looking mirrorless camera I've seen so far. I really like the way Canon have designed their mirrorless cameras. I think they've nailed the design spot on, but design isn't everything, and what good is a Lamborghini with a Fiat Punto engine, you know? And that ultimately, that's what it is. It has got great autofocus, something to bear in mind. But it's just not enough. It's not enough, and I think that for your money, what you're spending, if you are video orientated, then there's better offerings out there. And I think right now, I think if you can wait 1 month, we're gonna see more news developing about maybe the GH full frame camera, which will come out. And I expect that to be priced around the same as the EOS R. And honestly, Panasonic are just killing it right now. They're forcing everyone to go 10-bit. And if it wasn't for them, you know, we'd still probably be stuck with an 8-bit system mirrorless cameras. So I'm really kind of happy that Canon have made this step forward. Is it worth the price? To be honest, no. It should be about £1,000 cheaper. I'd probably price it as a £1,500 camera. For that price, certainly, I'd definitely say go and get it. You got C-Log, you've got this awesome touchscreen autofocus. There's lots of features in it that are so good in terms of the camera usability that make it easier for you to shoot. But you don't get what you're paying for. Rolling shutter is like, we're talking about like A6300 style rolling shutter. It's unusable. I've seen the footage myself. If I can find some clips, I'll post it. It's not good. It's not good at all. So you know, that's my rant and my review about it. It was a camera that everyone's asked for, but not quite what we asked for. It's just lagging behind. There's not much to talk about it, to be honest. It's got a new RF mount. You're gonna have to use adapters with it anyway, because the lenses right now, even the RF lenses are too expensive. Like, come on. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm very sorry that I couldn't be enthusiastic about this camera. There's just nothing really to jump home about. If you've liked this episode, then please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and as always, there's a notification bell so you can stay notified when I do release these videos, and I'm going to be making much more in the upcoming weeks. And the next episode is going to be about the Fuji X-T3, which I am enthusiastic about, and I have got good things to say about it. So stay tuned. Peace out.